country garden greenhouse, and I'm going to build a moss hanger. I usually do 5 of them because I have 5 spots in the gazebo. So we collect the moss first off. If you have somewhere where you can collect it, don't take it all in one spot. Take small bits from here and there so that it can grow in again. We don't want to devastate the forest floor. Then you take the moss. First of all, line the bottom part of your wire basket with the moss, and then you put in a layer of soil, some nice loose topsoil that retains moisture and yet has good porosity. That's what the little bits of white in here are. They're perlite, and that's like a superheated rock that puffs it up like a popcorn and makes it loose and porous so that it drains well. In the gazebo, it's all under the roof, so I have to go with shade-loving plants. And here I have an assortment of lobelias, begonias, some perennial coral bells, impatiens, which you may recognize, some tuberous begonias over here that are still in their plug forms. We have monkey flowers and nemesia, all sorts of things that will do well in shady conditions. So to begin with, say you want to start on the lowest layer, prop it out of its container, and it's always best to tuck the leaves through. It's easier for leaves to regenerate if you happen to break them than it is for roots. So they're not so terribly fragile. You can manhandle them a little bit. Tuck that in there like so, and say we want another color of lobelia on the bottom. I'll tuck it in on the other side. If you try to space them kind of evenly around, then it makes for a nice even look to your basket. Here I have a tray full of fibrous rooted begonias, and they're easy to break into sections. Forest plants, there's always a few sticks and things. Let's get rid of those, and then we'll add some water on. So to that we add some water. I like to moisten it at every layer so that I'm sure that it's moistened all the way through. So we get it good and wet. Make sure you're working in a spot where it doesn't matter if it runs through, which it will. Once your basket is soaked through, it'll drip, but that's fine. Then we add the next layer of soil. And as I said before, it's a nice light mix. And you've got to remember that potting soil doesn't have any nutrients in it, so that's why I'm adding a layer of adding a sprinkling of slow release fertilizer to every layer. Now I also have over here a lot of fuchsias, which they're still in their plugs, so I'm just going to, they're much easier to deal with when they're that size. And if we just stagger them so that they don't hang down, you can turn it so you can see, stagger them so they don't hang down and cover the one below it. Then you can add that there, and perhaps then double impatiens. They're a lovely addition. And we'll get it down in the next layer here. You can just tear a spot through the moss to tuck that through. Don't worry if you knock off a few flower buds, they'll quickly grow some more. I've got my chain in the way there. Then we can add a different color fuchsia. And again, staggering it so that it doesn't cover up the little begonia underneath. Fuchsias grow very quickly, so it doesn't matter if they're a bit smaller than some of the others. And then I also have some begonias, which are in plug form still. So we can tuck that in here. If you have a color scheme that you want to follow, that's great. I usually just, whatever I have on hand, it always ends up looking beautiful. And I have a third type of fuchsia over here, also as a plug. Alright, I've added one more layer of plants, another half dozen or so. I've added more fertilizer, more moss, and now I'm adding the top, adding soil to the top. I've watered the last one in again. So I have 3 layers of plants here, 3 rows or tiers. And now on the very top, I'm going to put something upright so that it'll have some height on the top. So we're adding some tuberous begonias. And for those of you who don't know about begonias, always face the point of the leaves outwards, because that's the direction that the flowers also face. So you don't want your begonias, if that's what you're planting, facing the inside of your pot where no one will see them. So I'm putting 3 begonias here. It's always nice to have an uneven number because it looks more aesthetically pleasing. And then in between I have some lovely little orange pansies, which also like partial shade. Just tuck those in between them. And there's that. Add another little bit of fertilizer in between so that everybody gets their share. And then water that in. This soil absorbs a lot of water, so don't worry about overwatering because it'll, of course, drain out. It won't drown. It'll drain out the bottom if it has more than it'll hold. And at the last, what we want to do is tuck in some moss amongst the plants. And the moss, if it's nice fresh moss like this, it'll take root and grow. Alright, here we have the finished product now. It'll settle down as the soil and everything compacts, so it looks like it's really heaped up now, but in a few days it'll be more level. And I just wanted to correct what I was saying before. These are Turenia and they're wishbone flower. And these are mimulus, and they're the monkey flower. I think I may have used them interchangeably before. Anyway, there's the finished product, and I'll show you film of it in a few days when they all settle down and all the blooms start opening up. And I'm sure it'll just be a lovely sight to see. And there you are. Thank you. Alright, here we are a couple of weeks later. As you see, the plants have all filled out nicely and are all in bloom. And we turn them once in a while because it's dark on the inside and they only get direct light from the outside. So as you see, this side needs to be turned again. And then they start blooming immediately when you turn them toward the sun. And the begonias and the nemesias and the little fuchsias are just in bud. Remember how tiny they were? And the monkey flowers, and there's some wishbone flowers here and lobelias, different colors, and they're all looking fine. And as you can see, they've almost totally covered the moss and have filled out really nicely.